Welcome to Coffee Shop, everybody. This is your host and barista, and this is going to be a really simple video for you. I'm going to see if I can do this in less than 10 minutes because it's really, really easy. Even the most novice of traders can figure out how to do this, right? Now, I'm not going to use an indicator to do this because indicator is going to be locked to like specific values. I don't want to give you like a pivot indicator, right? Let's use a pivot indicator, right? Because I got pivots on this one. Let's assume I want to look at pivots like every 9 legs. I'm going to use the chart, right? This is the problem with using the pivots, okay? If you're using pivots for support and resistance, stop it, because not all of them are support and resistance. You can get too many pivots on the chart, and you see how like there's a whole bunch now. How many pivot legs do I want to look at? It's like, how many is it looking at left and right? Well, it's way too many. So how do you know which ones are the ones you want to see, right? All of these that are showing on the chart, they are pivots, but which ones are relevant, right? There's too many configurations that you can use. So I'm going to do this in a way that you do not need an indicator, okay? And you're simply going to draw on your chart. That's it, real simple. Now, this is what you would do if you're doing some price action trading, right? And let's say price was doing an uptrend, then it starts doing a small pullback, and then it's going to start, rising again. What you want to be able to find is like when you're taking these long trades, you want to know where was the resistance in there, because price pulled down, but it made resistance levels, right, in that downtrend. As price is moving up, it's going to hit those resistance levels, right? That's what you're looking for, okay? So I'm going to show you how to find those in the B wave. This would be the B wave, right? A, B, C wave. There you go. So I'm going to show you how to find that very easily, okay? So we don't need this anymore. Let's move this out of the way. So now we see an uptrend taking place here. I decided to cut the chart here because I can see that we have structure that is being broken, right? It's being broken. I don't know if it's being broken adequately yet, but we will find out, okay? So now let that run. And here we go. So we have structure again here, broken, right? This is a break of structure. But since this structure was broken with a lower high, right? Not a higher high, because this high is higher than this one, right? This structure was broken with a lower high. So this tells me the market is coming to a stall. It's breaking its uptrend. It's trying to flip over, okay? That's essentially what's happening there. So that means I want to know, where was this structure broken? How did it get broken? Well, I want to find the highest opening price, and then I want to make sure that I only have lower highs and lower lows that are leading to this structure break. It has to be lower highs and lower lows. And you can see that here. You get lower highs and lower lows, okay? I cannot take this one because the price moves down into a little shape. I can't take this one because the price moved down at some little shape over there. So I can't take any of that. I simply need to know the lower highs and the lower lows that broke this structure. So that means I'm simply going to draw a line. That's all. That is going to show me where resistance is when the market starts pushing back the other way. Here's the structure break, right? Here's the highest opening price. If you're using a Windows computer, hit Alt-J on TradingView and you get a ray, right? If not, then you're going to use the ray over here and you're going to draw a line, and that's going to be the same thing, okay? So Alt-J. Now, we're going to let price action play out a little bit more. Just going to kind of follow this all the way through. I see that I get structure here, so you get me a swing low, right? And it broke the structure there. Now, I have a high and a lower high, a low and a lower low. That means this is the opening price that I can use. I cannot use these because this went from a, you see it? It went from a high to a higher high. I can't use this one. I have to use this one, right? It has to be the lowest opening price that gave me a break of structure. And on the way to the break of structure, you have to have lower highs and lower lows. So it's literally the two candles. So this is going to be the opening price that broke that structure, right? So that's that, right? So let's kind of play this one out. Let's see what we got here. I get another structure here, right? And it's broken by this candle, lower highs and lower lows. So there is structure here, Okay, that means there's a good selling structure right over here, right? So now price continues moving on. We're gonna let it just kind of do what it needs to do. You can see we got structure here, right? Structure, lower low, you got a lower low, and then that structure was broken, right? Structure was broken on this candle here. What is the highest opening price that broke this structure? I cannot take this one, right? I can't take that one. I have to take this one. Why is that? Because in this move, right? In this move, you got a high, lower high, and then a higher high. This is what negates this move, this higher high. You need to have lower highs and lower lows consistently down to the breakup structure. And that will be your order block that's on a lower time frame. That'll be your actual resistance that you're below it. So right there, we're going to do that, right? Going to mark these out. And we get that breakup structure. Looks like market is kind of slowing down again over here. Let's see what happens. Okay, so we get a little structure down here. Okay, yeah, a little structure right there. We're going to see if market pulls back into that as well. I don't know if this B wave is done yet. No. So the other thing I want to do is this, right? You see how we have a swing high right here? I'm going to mark this pivot because this pivot, I'm going to call this a weak pivot. Okay, I'm going to say it's a weak one, like that. I'm going to make it skinny. I'm going to make it a dashed line. And what I'm going to say is that price is going to easily push through this level. So when price starts coming to this level on a lower time frame, I'm going to look for reactions near it, and I'm just going to go and get out here. I know that I'm going to get through this. It's just going to happen, right? And there's another little trick that I'm going to show you about these two. When you have a trend change, right? When you have a trend change, the high before the last one, so this is the last high, this is the high before the last one. There's usually a divergence here. Now watch this carefully. Okay, here's a divergence, right? You got a divergence right there. And then after the divergence, the market changed sides. That makes this high, right? It's this high. This is the strong high. This is the weak high, okay? So, I'm sorry, I got that wrong. This is the weak high. This is the strong high, okay? So, I'm going to show you. I'm going to do this here again. I'm going to do this again. I'm going to take this one. I'm going to copy it to that side. To that side right there. So that tells me price is going to get, put it on the high. There we go. Price is easily going to get through this, right? But it's going to stall near this, okay? I can let price get through here. I won't be scared, but I don't want to go through this. If I get a breakout here, it's most likely a fake out, okay? So this will be like previous day's high or whatever, right? So now let's see. Let's see if we get any more structures to the downside. We got this one, right? Price comes down, gives me a nice new structure, right? Get there. So you get this one, breaks this structure, and it broke this structure in a single move, right? In a single move. So what is the highest opening price that gave me this structure? Well, that's going to be this one right here, okay? The opening price. There. So now, all of these support and resistance lines, they look like a whole big cluster of lines, like they're just unnecessary or something like that, right? That's what it seems like, you know. Let me just I'm going to leave them all thick like that. They just seem unnecessary until you get to a smaller time frame, and then they are necessary, right? So I'm looking at 30-minute candles. So it looks like the market is trying to flip over. I'm not getting any breaks below lows, but I am closing above highs. So at this point, I'm considering that my trend is back in place. I'm back in my trend. We had an uptrend, then we had a pullback, and now we are in this. So I've marked out all of my resistance levels that came from here, all right? So this one's going to be weak. This one's going to be weak. So let's go to our smaller time frame and let price action just play out. I'm sure it's going to give me some other liquidity, some other drops and stuff like that. But I want you to see the reactions from these levels, okay? You see how we get reactions on the thick ones, and then we get the thin ones where, right? Price action goes immediately through them very quickly, very easily, right? And just letting price action. I want to see if we get a little fake out up here, Like if that's going to happen, we're going to try that out. Let's let price action play that out. Of course, we get a little fair value gap over here. Now, this is a very easy way to draw out price action support and resistance. Like this is just so simple, right? You can see how price is just going through this level. Hey, there we go. There's that. This looks like the fake out. Let's see if we have another divergence here, right? Like I said, this would be the place where price easily goes through, but you don't want to go through here. You're most likely going to get a fake out. So let's take a look. When price does close above this, do we have a divergence forming? Yeah, equal highs, right? We have equal highs, but the high is below that level. High is above that level, right? And then we get another higher high, but it's lower here. Higher high, but it's lower here. So again, that's a little secret little trick you can use when you get divergences, right? When you get divergences, that divergence came off of here. So that this was going to be the weak one, that's going to be the strong one. The strong divergent, the strong part of the divergence is the lower side, right? And that's where you're going to get fake outs. The weak side is where price is going to just kind of push through and just kind of go through it very easily, right? So you end up getting that right there. And let's see how well these. Yep. So they're still relative for a little while longer. Then we can go back to a 30-minute chart, right? Then the question is, when do you get rid of these, right? When do you get rid of these? Well, we had our B wave. Now we have our C wave, right? At this point, I would get rid of them, right? And I would figure out, where on the 30-minute chart, where is the support from this new trend, right? Where's the support from this new trend? That's what I would do. So you would use the same methodology as you used to find the breaks of structure that got you to these downward moves. You want to find the breaks of structure that get you these upward moves. And those are going to be, the points where structure is broken in a nice clean move. Like you need to have that there. So, but you just have to get used to understanding that you cannot take just any price action swing, right? You can't just take any price action swing. That one's no good. You need one that actually breaks a high, like in an uptrend. You need one that breaks a high in an uptrend, and it does it with higher highs and higher lows. There is no support here. The support is actually, when you get used to this, you can see it very quickly. It's here, right? So this is going to be the actual support level. And you can see how price action already instantly reacts to that, right? Let it play out a little second longer. I want to see if it comes down there. And like I said, this is not it. That's not it. So I'm going to do this like this and do that. I don't know if price is going to come back down there or not, but even if it did, it's just going to go through it very quickly. So yeah, I'm not going to wait for that. I'm not going to wait for anything of that to take place. So very simple little method for you guys to use, right? Price action secrets for support and resistance. Hope you like that one. Big ups from the coffee shop. Peace out.